Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Hope you are having a fantastic day. We are back with the 2022 C8.R Corvette, looking absolutely fantastic, ceramic coated, detailed, and bright and shiny and Accelerate Yellow. Today's video is very straightforward, and then I'm going to talk about the 5 things that I think GM got wrong with the C8.R. Now, I've made a very specific video talking about the 5 things that I love about the C8 Corvette, which I will link in the description below, as well as the 5 things that I hate about the C8 Corvette. But today's video is going to be more specific to the C8.R and 5 things that I think General Motors really got wrong with this car. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. I think it is fantastic. I have the payment video out already, so you can see why this was such an amazing deal given how all the numbers ended up working out. And the Accelerate Yellow paint is much easier to film, record, and post-recording edit because the reds seem to always fade out. But nonetheless, this is a special edition car, limited to what color, what wheel, what interior, what options you can really get with it outside of accessories. And without a doubt, I think there are things that General Motors definitely could have done differently to kind of exemplify the experience, or maybe even just tailor the car a little bit more specific to the heritage that it's representing, which ultimately is the C8.R track-focused race car that they're actually putting to market for a non-street legal race car for those who want one. And most of the ideas in this video are my own that I actually came up with now that I've had some time with the car, but there are 2 that I actually took inspiration from Rick Corvette Conti, who detailed the C8.R when he first delivered his first one. And so number 1 on my list of things that I think they got wrong with the C8.R is the actual mirror covers and the side of the high wing. If you look at this picture, a couple of the pictures that I'll throw up here, the C8.R has red mirror covers and red side winglets to the high wing. So for GM, it would have been really easy to just take the body colored red that they do in the body colored high wing for, say, a torch red Corvette and just screw it onto the side of the high wing, and it would have paid homage and represented the heritage of the GTLM car that ran the track events for Corvette and the C8 generation a little bit better. And the same thing can go for the mirror covers, because you can get these torch red from the parts department. So I imagine it would be pretty easy for General Motors to just get those 2 accessories and tack them on. Even if it was a dealer installed option, I imagine they could do it on the assembly line, and it would have just represented the C8.R a little bit better. Number 2 on my list of things that they got wrong with the C8.R is the interior is absolutely fantastic. There's really 2 things wrong with the interior, but we'll cover the next one here. Is you have yellow stitching all the way throughout. You can see yellow stitching right here. You can see yellow stitching on the center pad there. You have Alcantara here, but then you have yellow stitching entire headliner, as well as like the pillars and stuff. There's just a lot of yellow stitching. Coming along the door, you have yellow stitching on the door, both in and around the speakers, as well as like the entire door panel and the map pockets. And then you get yellow all on the steering wheel. It seems like they missed the yellow on the sky cool gray portion right over here, running along the passenger side. I know yellow doesn't contrast against white as well as it would against some of the black, but I think it would have just been consistent. It would have looked nice. I think it would have fit the mold a little bit better, just to separate the C8.R from the strike yellow you can get in a regular base Stingray. Number 3 on my list of things that I think GM got wrong with the C8.R is the lug nut situation, and boy is that a mess in and of itself. So these wheels are ceramic coated, but they have a nice cake of, brake dust all over them because the Z51 produces a lot of brake dust. I washed this maybe 50 miles ago. I haven't even actually left the town that I'm in. But as you can see, this is the accessory Trident wheel, and the black lug nuts look great, but they also charge you on the window sticker $95 for the locking lug nuts, and let me go grab those. And so there are the lug nuts that they send with the vehicle. It's an LPO option with my VIN number stamped on it, so it's not like it's just a generic off-the-counter part. And as you can see inside, these are steel-colored lug nuts that really don't work with a all-black wheel and an all-black lug nut configuration. And it gets significantly worse. With the C8.R, you can see this was the picture the day the vehicle got dropped off at the dealer. And it ships from the factory with these accessory wheels mounted on the vehicle with steel lug nuts. Not the best look in the world, but I like the peace of mind of having locking lug nuts. The locking lug nuts ship separate from the vehicle itself, so they arrive at the dealership as part of the accessory batch. Same thing with the high wing on the back of the vehicle. And the dealer swaps the lug nuts out, the steel ones for these black ones. And so after getting some opinion from my friends, I ultimately decided I wanted the peace of mind of the locking lug nut. So I said, hey, go with the locking steel lug nut with all other 4 lug nuts being the steel color. And as long as they're consistent, I guess it kind of works. So that's what I go ahead with, and the dealer calls me back like 2 days later, and they're like, oh, actually, that's not an option anymore. We have to mail the steel lug nuts back to General Motors because they're transport lug nuts, I guess. And so my options dwindled from being all steel or all black to I can either have 4 black lug nuts with 1 steel locking lug nut, which would look really stupid, have no locking lug nut, which the car is invoiced on the MSRP with as well as it comes with, And really that's my only option. So I ended up with $95 locking lug nuts that I really can't use without kind of getting that goofy one oddball out lug nut. And so for a limited edition car that comes fully decked out 3LT, easily topping $90,000 with a $7,000, near $7,000 GTLM C8R Heritage package on it, they probably could have thought the lug nuts through a little bit better. Me being the idiot that I am, I somehow managed to corrupt the footage from yesterday for items number 3 and 4, so I'm out here the next day trying to make up for it. To make up for some of the break in continuity, at least I found a really nice view for everyone to be able to look at. And so number 3 on my list of things that I think they got wrong with the C8R is in the PDR settings. This should have been a custom image to the C8R. I know that's nitpicking and asking for a lot, but honestly, I think if you log into the My Chevy app, if you log into the online portal, they have your exact color combo and spec as the image that they show. I can't imagine it's that hard for them to pull that image in and show that instead of a base 1LT non-Z51 with the stock wheels in black sitting on a track when this isn't even a track build C8. And so even if they don't tie in your specific build, they could have at least put the GTLM track car on here on the track, and it would have just made the experience a little bit more custom. And lastly, number 5 on my list of things that they got wrong with the C8R is, without a doubt, the strike yellow interior is absolutely fantastic. I've talked about it in a couple of other videos, and I think it's a really good interior. And they've had this sky cool gray in 2020 and 2021, but with the strike yellow, for some reason, you can see in these pictures here, the top dash portion with the sky cool gray and other variations of the Corvette has a completely black dash with the contrast stitching, but here you can see on the C8R with the strike yellow interior package, they made the dash sky cool gray, and this is awful for the passenger. Even in an overcast day, you guys can see the amount of reflection in the windshield. On a sunny day, that whole half of the windshield for the passenger is just straight up white. And the glare and reflection is pretty bad, and you can see for the driver over here, they made this black so you don't get a ton of reflection, but I still get a decent amount of reflection on the left corner over here for the driver, as well as this protruding section over here. In a completely overcast day with complete clouds, there's a good amount of reflection to be captured in video. And on a fully sunny day, it's just pretty much white for that whole side of the dashboard. And so as great as the strike yellow interior on the C8R is, I think that's one oversight that they probably should have done black or something different to make up for it. I think this is a common problem for a lot of mid-engine cars. So nothing against General Motors for the way they did it, but it's one thing that I think the C8R kind of got wrong here as well. And there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. If you have not already, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Check out the playlist and some of the other C8 Corvette and C8R Corvette content. Truly a fantastic car, but I still think there's some little details that they got wrong, which it's like that with a lot of vehicles. But for those on the market for the C8R, those expecting their C8R, or those that have the C8R, I'm sure they'll all agree that these are 5 things that General Motors could have done with little to moderate effort on top of what they've already put into a fantastic vehicle and package, to make it a little bit better and a little bit better of an experience for the Corvette enthusiast. And as always, I appreciate all the love and support. I thank you all for taking the time to watch this video and checking out my channel. And as always, until the very next video, I look forward to seeing all of you down in the comment section below.